what I love about Nicole. She is a mother who plays, really plays.
What I love about Charlie.
He loves being a dad. He loves all the things you're supposed to hate, like waking up at night.
She knows when to push me and when to...
Have you ever really fallen in love? What made you fall in love? Being in love with someone means loving everything about them unconditionally. All of their words and actions mean something to you. Complete and unconditional attraction for one's qualities is the definition of love. Sadly, however, we experience parting as much as the experience of falling in love. Breaking up is a big event, a heartbreaking event for lovers in a dating relationship. But for married couples who have sworn to spend the rest of their lives together and raise their child together, it brings more than just emotional changes. With the harsh reality intruding on couples who have fallen to the bottom of grief and despair, the breakup is even anti-romantic. The end of fairy tales, ones that we grew up with, always end up as, and they lived happily ever after. So how do we end our fairy tales in the 21st century? Let's take a look at the conclusion of a modern version of a fairy tale in today's movie, Marriage Story. Marriage Story is an American movie released in 2019 as a Netflix original. The director is Noah Baumbach, who debuted in 1995. He excels in telling stories about love, marriage, and families, of which he observed from the East Coast United States, especially New York. The film is one of the most well-received of Baumbach's works, and has been nominated for multiple awards, including the 73rd British Academy Awards and the 92nd Academy Awards. The portrayal of Adam Driver as Charlie and Scarlett Johansson as his wife Nicole has won the hearts of audiences worldwide. Laura Dunn is also praised for exceptional performances as Nicole's lawyer, Nora. Charlie and Nicole are a married couple with an 8-year-old son. They work in the same theater company in New York. Charlie is acclaimed for his creativity and ability as a director. His wife Nicole, who made her debut in a movie as a young actress in LA, attracted attention for a while, but soon met Charlie in New York and made a successful career as a theater actress. The two seem to be a harmonious couple who love everything about each other.
Who wants to start?
But they're actually in the middle of couples counseling with divorce in mind. Finishing her last performance in New York, Nicole leaves Charlie for her family's home in LA, bringing along their son Henry. Nicole, casted in a drama for the first time in a long time, is introduced to a divorce lawyer named Nora.
How are you doing?
Nicole says she wanted to take on a directorial role, but Charlie ignored her values and dreams. On the other hand, Charlie, who flew from New York to LA to meet his son...
What did you do?
Nothing. I don't know. I can't lie. You're being served. You guys are getting a I don't know. I'm sorry.
is forced to seek a divorce lawyer. At first, he gets a cheaper, more modern lawyer. But as the case goes not the way he wants, he hires a much more expensive, better performing lawyer, and a legal battle between them becomes even more intense. Nicole and Charlie become exhausted from the bout and try to solve the problem through conversation.
That we might do LA for a while.
I was not privy to that thought process.
Oh, the only reason we didn't live here is because you can't imagine desires other than your own, unless they're forced on you.
Okay, you wish you had...
But from the beginning, their conversation is dysfunctional. After shouting harsh words at each other and breaking down into tears, Charlie and Nicole share each other's anger and sorrow. Soon after, the two work to get custody over their son, and their divorce is settled. A year later, Charlie finds Nicole's house to see his son. Nicole's new boyfriend and family are getting along well. Charlie picks up his son with a warm greeting from his ex-wife and her family.
Okay.
Thanks.
The movie ends showing the couple heading their separate ways. Separate, but placid.
Jetzt bleib doch einen Augenblick.
Jesse and Celine in the 1995's movie Before Sunrise find each other's eyes in a fateful encounter on a train. In the 2009 film 500 Days of Summer, Tom meets Summer, who likes the song he was listening to and realizes his fate in that very moment. In the 2015's movie Man Up, Nancy, who doesn't believe in love, happens to meet someone else's date and feels her heart beating in an unusual way. In countless other movies besides these, we see characters whose hearts are dominated by total strangers in a flash, and they show us what it's like to fall in love. Irrational and illogical emotions towards a stranger, an unending emotional upheaval that cannot be explained by any theory. It is when we've fallen in love that we might experience these emotions. Have you heard people say, love is blind, love is magical, fools fall in love? These sayings depict attributes of love from the romantic aspect. In other words, we are the most romantic when we fall in love with someone. Therefore, love can be romance itself. In the 2010 film Blue Valentine, Dean and Nancy fall in love in an instant and get married in a fatefully romantic encounter. But 5 years later, the two become the cause of each other's misery. Now they feel happier apart rather than together. Where did the insanely passionate love and romance go? Released in 2011, the movie Take This Waltz depicts Margot's happy but somewhat empty-looking marriage. To get out of this marriage, she decides to leave her husband and meet the man next door, only to find it silly. Why did Margot feel so empty in her marriage? Once romance is all about love, the marriage can be an institution that destroys romance and evaporates love, at least from the perspective of the movie. Back to Marriage Story. Nicole says she fell in love with Charlie 2 seconds after she saw him, and that's why she could leave her sunny hometown, settle in a new place, and help Charlie out to build up his career, putting aside her dreams. But even Nicole finally decides to divorce him. Question: is this really the case? Can we really say that marriage is the single reason that took all the romance away from these characters' lives? The true reason why Nancy of Blue Valentine left Dean and Nicole of Marriage Story left Charlie was that as reality was gradually taking over the place of romance, it suddenly dawned on them that marriage is no longer a romance but a harsh reality. Once the fog of romance surrounding them clears, they feel like someone else's property and feel like their identity is missing. At this point, marriage is no longer a practice of love. It is just a sacrifice and an imprisonment. Nicole's list about the things she loves about Charlie, as well as Jesse's book about his love with Celine, can be thought of as a trick to tie up and deceive themselves, rather than to hold on to love and bring back romance. All of the good things about your partner that made you fall in love with them in the past can become their flaws that you detest and make you feel distant. After all, breaking up with someone doesn't take many reasons. Breaking up means the romance is just no longer there, and neither is the love. That's all. Charlie and Nicole argue fiercely prior to their divorce. But in the end, curses and accusations against each other come back to self-disgust. At last, the two cry out, comfort each other, and conclude their love. After experiencing the powerful feeling of love and the devastating pain of a breakup, we doubt if we could live on and ever love again. But like the lyrics to Charlie's song, somebody hold me too close, somebody hurt me too deep, somebody sit in my chair and ruin my sleep and make me aware of being alive. As long as we live, we're going to repeat meeting a fateful someone in a romantic way, losing ourselves in love and surreality and breaking up in silence. If you're lucky enough, you can repeat it more than once. We all find out as we grow up that our reality is different from the fairy tale world we read in our childhood. But sometimes we just want to hear a good old happy ending to stories. Something along the lines of, and they lived happily ever after. Because of our terribly realistic daily lives, we just completely and utterly need a love story.